remember early on in Twitter, somebody was like, "Where my twats at?" And somebody's like, "Welcome to SonarFeed."
Go.
You're fired.
I could have kept going.
You're fired.
It seemed like it was waning. We needed to move on.
I want the other ECS co-president.
Anyway.
Oh,
It seemed appropriate to go that way. Guys, that was actually an audible not from me. I was told we were opening the show with that tonight. So here we are for SonarFeed episode 199.9. Hat trick upside your head. Who's got their audio on?
I turned it off.
Jeez.
Whoops.
Are you new?
Yeah. First time podcaster. You're over the to my one right. actually getting paid to broadcast for anything. Jesus. Anyway, so welcome to tonight's episode, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
We've got a lot to talk about tonight. We got some random things to talk about tonight.
For sure.
But why don't we just jump in and do some introductions? I'm Tom Biro, a.k.a. Bougie Hooli, and to my left...
You're right. I'm Mark, also known as the
Mark.
artist formerly known as the fan of last year.
By the way,
Man.
you know the fan of the year thing? I already know who this year's fan of the year needs to be.
No.
Already?
What?
There's without a doubt
Who's angry at the front
Yuta,
office?
Sounders Japan,
Oh yeah,
needs to be the fan of the year.
Good call. That is a good call.
Yeah.
We don't need to we don't need to worry about the rest of the year.
So instead
Dude
of
flew from
I
Japan
support
and
this.
probably bought more
I
merchandise
support
than
this
Gary
lobbying
does an
effort.
entire year in one day.
well, I
Good
don't
call.
know. I don't know about that.
Sounders
but-
Japan. Yeah. Yeah, it's just amazing.
So for those of you that missed this on Twitter, Mark, about 10 minutes before the show was started, we were all wolfing down our food.
Yeah.
And he admitted, A, to having like super, super, super blonde hair, not highlights, full-on blonde hair.
Spike.
And that he wore a all-white tuxedo to junior prom, which, like, at that point, I was like, oh, you were just trying to stand out. And then he's like, but actually, I had to remove my puka shell necklace in order to put that
Wow.
white tuxedo on.
I love how,
And that just put us over the top
You're
for
like,
the rest of the evening.
Were was there a pink shirt underneath?
No, it was all
Pastels?
White. All
full
white.
on?
White
Yeah,
on white
nope,
pad.
I got
on
nothing.
white on white.
Yeah.
Wow.
You
Didn't
are
Don
not-
Johnson
Did you wear
Yeah.
some Jordans?
correctly?
But
Did you
he
wear some
would have
Jordans with
worn
that?
blue or pink or
It
something.
would have been pastel underneath.
Yeah.
What kind of shoes? What
You
kind of
messed
shoes?
up.
White
Were those
wingtips.
white as well?
messed up.
Damn.
You messed up.
All right, well, let's
messed up.
finish our way around the horn.
Yeah.
So diagonal from me, cross
Somewhere
from
on your
Mark.
screen, Hugo Garcia at Maybe the Seattle, and then on my left, your right.
I'm Dave Clark at Better Than.
We can actually see all of us on the screen.
Nice.
And that's
I'll drift off screen once in a while if I remember
Mark's
to
gonna
eat.
be like a half a face.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go old
For
school.
some
I'm
portion
gonna
of the
go old
show.
school and do no stand.
So
Wow.
So we had
I
a,
don't know.
you know, after obviously kicking
Going with
into the
it.
season and having some, you know, some ups and some downs for Sounders Land.
Right.
S2
World
on
Cup
Sunday.
qualifiers on
We have
Friday.
three good
Yes.
games to talk
S-
about, plus Mexico.
S2.
Yes.
Oh,
It's all
starting
good.
already.
Yeah, it's all good.
and S2
We're-
on Sunday.
we're
So
looking good to qualify
a lot,
already,
a lot
so-
going on. The title of the show tonight speaks for itself. Mark actually came up with it on his own, which that really doesn't ever happen. So shout out to Mark.
That is a big shout out. I like it.
But I mean, where do we want to start? Do we want to? I
amazing.
mean, not a lot I think happened news-wise off the top of my head since last.
Well, the big news was Jordan Morris slightly dinged, so it became apparent that Clint Dempsey, in like a 3-week stretch, went from we're not going to call him up to you have to start our must-win game.
Yeah.
And then he
now sent home Jordan Morris.
The over.
and then Clint Hattie.
Yeah. So let's just jump into Friday then. I think that's the most appropriate
like
way
it.
to
I
get
like
into
it.
it.
How about we go into the first game?
Was that not
the
most fun
first game.
that you've had watching
In a really long time.
in long time?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Like I said later in the night, maybe it's because I'm wiser now. Whatever.
Well,
I was kind of happy that you guys
debatable.
were all happy. You know, all my friends on Twitter.
You were happy for
Facebook.
Clint?
Yeah, I was happy for Clint, but obviously I was happy too that everybody's all super hyped and, Mexico's looking already good to do their thing. So we're looking to pay back and help you guys out the way you guys helped us in the last World Cup.
San
you want-
Chicharito?
You know.
We won't need your help.
Yeah, well, in case you do, man, don't worry. We'll see what we can do.
We'll talk about Chicharito in a few
I'm
minutes.
just going to throw it out there real
Yeah.
quick since that was the first game. Mexico played Costa Rica. They played pretty much how I expected them to do. They played pretty well, consistent. They converted on some of their chances. Chicharito tied the record 46 goals for most goals ever on a national team player for Borghetti.
Los Ticos had a pretty good traveling contingent.
Yeah, they did. I was surprised, man.
Did you say Tychos?
Yeah.
Tecos.
Okay.
But it's Los Rayos. Los Rayos.
Ticos?
The Necax. Oh, you're talking about Los Ticos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
Tychos.
Yeah,
Ticos. Like the truck that you
the
played
truck.
for when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, it was a solid game.
Oh, that was Tonka.
Rafa Marquez had a tribute. 20 years playing with the team, 1997 to 2017.
Which is just crazy.
He's
Is
like-
Rafa's kid already playing for the national team?
I think he is on one of the sub. Maybe it's under 17. The dude is a baller, just legend. Highly. I mean, he's definitely gonna play. I don't know if he's gonna play, but he's gonna be on the 18. There's no way he's not gonna be on the 18 or on the roster. I mean, for the World Cup, barring absolute.
You're talking about Rafa.
Rafa,
Marquez.
actual Rafa.
Yeah.
Not
not little.
Not my
Rafa
joke.
Jr.
No, the real.
Do you see how many people watched that game?
3+ million.
A number.
3.118.
Yeah.
3.1. Yeah, that's a lot of people on a Friday night.
That's about. It's just over 3 times the total number between Fox
Yeah.
Sports and Unimos UDN for the USA game.
And that's kind of a fun thing to, like,
One nation, one
when we
team.
start talking into demographics in the country,
Yeah.
love for soccer aside, like this is the wrong group to discuss soccer is growing in America. Like, soccer on TV as a sport, when you start looking at what the U.S. national team, men's and women's, are doing, and what the El Tri is doing on television,
and on Facebook.
4 million people
Yeah.
watched Mexican and American soccer
Yeah.
on Friday.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
Think of how many people would have watched the U.S. national team if it wasn't starting at 10:50 at night
Eastern.
Eastern. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whole nother discussion.
Or it was on broadcast TV. Like,
But it was a solid game. And then
Univision
the
won.
game after that, I never expected that to happen, man. Yeah.
It's amazing.
I covered that game from here, actually.
Did you?
For Sounded
Oh,
Hard.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
sitting
yeah.
up at a table with some complete strangers watching the
literally
game.
from here.
Yeah, from the Berliner Pub, downtown Renton.
Ahead of the curve.
Wow.
And I think the most fun I had for that was I came back from halftime because I was busy updating the first goal that Clint Dempsey scored. Come back from halftime and I'm like 1 minute late, and I sit down. I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" And these complete strangers are like, "Some dude just scored," and I'm like,
What?
and I'm like, I sign into the Slack for Sounder at Heart. Guys, my seatmates just said that somebody scored. They're like, Pulisic, and then Clint Dempsey. Because I'd sat down for about 2 minutes into the half, and already 2 goals had scored. So I'm starting to write up the Clint Dempsey first goal. And he scores the second, and I'm like, damn it, I can't even keep up. I have to erase
That's gotta be the best feeling
2/3 of the story because it's already out of date. which was a lot of fun.
Damn you, Clint
Yeah.
Dempsey.
Damn you, Hattie, man.
Love it, man.
And then they scored 3 other goals.
Can we talk about that first goal, though, man? That was a
Who's first goal?
Dempsey, sorry.
Oh,
Dempsey's.
the Pulisic pass.
Yeah, I don't care about the guy from LA scoring. I'm talking Dempsey, okay?
No. Christian Pulisic is not from LA.
No, the LA
Talking
guy
about
scored
legit.
the first goal, though.
Legit.
Legit,
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel bad for him because he's out injured now.
Yeah, well,
Although nothing major
serious,
permanent kind
right.
of thing. So
He'll probably
but
miss
that-
this weekend.
that
Yeah, I
was
would think
a
so.
dime from Pulisic or Pulisic?
Pulisic.
Pulisic. That was a dime, man. That was pretty. It was just on the run, just a little whoop, right on the shoulder, and then Clint just
Like Clint just let it roll down
Yeah.
his chest to his feet, and I'm like, that's smooth under traffic.
seriously with the dude all over him.
he's like on the ground
Yeah.
scoring.
Oh, yeah.
Are we still talking about soccer?
You dirty,
Talking about something.
Yes.
dirty young man.
Mark's like,
That was so much fun.
I
That
am,
was, man.
I'm
And I
going
was
to take
only
a
catching
minute. I'll be
highlights.
back.
And people are like, oh, it's just Honduras, and they're not very good. I think you forget where the United States has been for the past 9 months.
No, Honduras
Not very good.
Is not crap. Though. Honduras has
So-
like one really good guy and 2 guys that are pretty damn good.
Oh,
So
Mario
I-
Martinez.
One-time Sounders transfer target, Ever Alvarado, played left back for Honduras today.
Oh, nice.
Or
nice.
Friday.
And they have, what is his name?
Half of the Houston Dynamo.
They have a gentleman that's
Yeah.
on Kansas City.
Garcia Boynik.
Garcia, they've got...
They have a mid from Kansas City, don't they?
No, they have a dude.
Roger Espinosa's played for them at times. Was he
Espinosa?
playing that week?
He
I don't
played.
know.
He played.
Who's
Yeah.
the guy that plays in Europe? There's one guy who plays in Europe. I can't remember.
That
his
doesn't
name.
narrow it down.
No, for them it might be.
Oh,
Maybe
for
the only guy
Honduras?
from Honduras that
I,
plays in
off the
Europe.
top of my head, don't know.
Yeah,
But then they also
fine.
had
Twitter,
Yeah.
folks, help out on that
Anytime Houston players are going to be out for a minute, at the moment, I think we all should be okay with it. I expect
good win.
them to level off at some point, but you never know.
And Jovan Jones's Trinidad and Tobago side beat Panama.
one. I heard that game on the
1-0.
radio. And it was a Panamanian radio station. They were not being nice about our boy Roman on that station.
Quinto.
He's kind of struggling a little right now.
Yeah. They were repeating that a lot on the Panamanian radio station.
Did you see the person that tried to commit suicide by pie-facing Torres?
Oh, yeah. That was a guy.
Yeah.
That's the biggest.
Thing I would never do.
That guy.
You know, it's that guy.
It was Blas, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
You
guy.
Bravers.
Yeah.
I wish Roman would have.
He did
punched him
not
in the
look like he had fun.
No.
Yeah. So
And that was one where they were like, hey, guys, let's take a photo.
Yeah.
And you know he's just like, what?
Yo, even I have limits.
Which is why the comments, though, from Schmetzer are so good with Torres. Because you just, like, you see on the field Torres. And
plays
then you
for West
see,
Ham.
like,
Thank you, Eileen.
and then you see Bunny Hop Torres. Like, it's just so cool to see the
Yeah.
split for him. So anyway, men's national team for the U.S. obviously look really good.
Dude. Best
They're going to
game-
probably need that goal differential.
Oh,
Yeah.
The way it's going.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens from here. Mexico, anything else you want to touch on with them?
Let's see. Our center back of the future scored the second goal. He's been the guy that I've never really trusted much. God, I can't think of his name right now. I'm
Like you
horrible.
wouldn't trust him with your car?
I wouldn't trust
Or,
him
like,
as a center back on my team. But
what's more valuable to you? Like you would lend him your car,
I would lend him my
but you
car.
would not let him play center
Not
back.
even
Okay,
no.
got it. We
before
just-
this game.
I'm just trying to level set your
Yes.
priorities.
Before this match.
Okay.
And he redeemed himself. He played well and he scored. And he's not making bad decisions.
Dave.
that's the extent of what I watched for the Mexico game.
So we're done. What you're saying is we're pretty much done with our analysis of the
They play
Mexico game.
Trinidad and Tobago tomorrow.
Jovan Jones is going to score on them.
Nope.
Maybe
Not gonna
3
happen.
times.
Oh.
If Jovan Jones
Jovan
scores
Jones
a hat
is
trick
hat-trick,
tomorrow,
I
you
will buy
should-
all you
Yeah.
guys
Wait.
a round of whatever shot you guys want from here next week.
Do they have Johnny Walker Blue?
It doesn't matter. They're going to now
Yeah.
because we're going to text Dennis after the show. And they'll be like, sure, we'll just keep it in the back. Wait for it. So anyway, so it was Friday night.
Going on into to Saturday,
Another
So the
soccer
friendly-
Is
game.
that the day that comes after Friday?
the friendly. So I was with Mark on Friday night, and we had 80s movie night, which we postponed somewhat. We watched Short Circuit, and we actually were like, oh,
That
well,
was
let's
the
just watch
jam.
the soccer game first, and then we'll watch that afterwards. And then we watched the first half of the soccer game, and then we're like, maybe we'll go watch Short Circuit. And wow, I'm just so derailed by the obnoxious comments I want to make to you about Short Circuit right now.
Input.
I'm going to lose it on the show right now talking about this.
Where did everybody else watch the game? You guys were there together?
Saturday?
Yeah, no, Friday.
Oh, Friday
Friday's
night.
game.
Input.
He was with
Gotcha.
us.
Home. Oh, nice. Okay.
The Berlin Pub,
Adam,
downtown Rent.
why
Where did
goes
you
here?
guys watch the
Why
game?
goes here with us?
Where'd you watch
US,
the national
US.
team game?
National
Friday night
team.
game. Where'd you watch it? Did you watch it?
No. All right. Just kinda getting a sense of where everybody's at.
Shemaine missed part of the game.
Shemaine gave me a damn good haircut on Friday.
So people watched it in various places.
Yeah, we already went.
So I'll leave my derail.
Nacoxa.
conversation
We were trying to
away.
talk Nacoxa.
Let's come back to Saturday. So
you
there was
need-
a game on
Do you
Saturday.
need more
I don't.
input?
No, we're really trying to talk about Saturday's game.
So Saturday happened.
Yeah.
So there was a friendly.
Yes, there was.
I did not. I had a wedding to go to, so I was way down
In beautiful.
Longview,
Long View,
and it
huh?
was pouring.
That's on the way to.
Did you play the Green Day song the whole time?
And there no.
Dude, that's like a 3-hour drive.
and
That's
there
a 3-hour
was
drive.
no liquor.
What?
So
But they had Riesling.
Why would they do that?
oh yeah, so I was at a bar and they had actually a
brought
really
a
good beer
flask,
selection.
right?
I didn't
Oh.
because I didn't think that was going to be the deal.
Whoa.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'm in a bar and they had Riesling
Nacoxa.
and they spelled Riesling wrong. And I was like, whoa. And the best was the internet was all about that. They were like, who was it? Kelly's dad was like, you're lucky they even had wine. or something like that. So that was pretty funny. So anyway, I missed being there in person for the friendly.
I made
but
it.
sounded like we had a significantly
you?
larger crowd than last year's friendly, which I would honestly say was probably like 20,000 people.
That's where
Last year.
Well, I think I don't know about I wasn't there last year. But
People this
one
year
felt like
told said
25 or so.
People
maybe
said
20,
probably
25.
30 is what I've heard. By the time everybody actually came in, and we
It
had
looked good.
Jeff Baker making a shitty traffic joke on Twitter. So, fuck that guy.
Better than
Anyway.
the weather joke or the.
You're welcome on the
weather
show
joke.
anytime, though.
So we, I'll
So
take
we
that
can
day
make
off.
fun of you.
So anyway, so 25,000, 30,000
Yeah.
people, whatever. We're there for the friendly. Obviously had 5 starters not playing and mixed up, 5 people not available to play. Mixed up the lineup quite a bit.
For sure.
Thoughts?
For sure.
Dave, do you have thoughts?
Christian Roldan is the man.
You mean Captain.
Captain.
Christian Roldan.
Yeah. Like,
No question.
so good. Loved what I saw from him. Loved what I saw from Alvaro Fernandez, Flaco, putting in two-way effort and finally getting rewarded with a goal.
Yeah, man.
It was a crisp
That
little
was
goal
beautiful.
too.
By the
Yeah.
way, on the radio, it was
And
like
Will
one of
Bruin robbed Flaco of a goal. Bruin tried to dribble through 3 guys rather than pass,
Yeah.
and he had an open lane, but he was so hungry for his own goal. He
On the
kinda-
radio, the Flacco goal was like the most inconsequential thing that happened. Like some stuff was happening, and then they were like, "And Flacco,"
Oh, okay.
No, it was.
and I was like, "Do we turn the volume up? Like, did we go through a dead spot on the radio? Like, what just happened?" And they were like, "And the Sounders have a goal."
And Harry Shipp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Harry Shipp.
love him.
Okay.
Those are my.
What did you love about him the most?
I mean, shit happens. He's just
I love it.
his reputation from Chicago and whatnot. Like in Chicago, he contributed so much offensively, practically carried those 2 horrible teams. But what we're seeing here is like defensive effort and work rate, and one of the things that you get with Nico Ladero out there is you get work rate from your creator, and that I think that has inspired Ship to play more defense, and he's in better health than he's been in a long time. He's getting his lungs a workout, and it's really exciting because this team under Garth has talked about having like guys slip in. They're not going to be as good again because he winds up playing 90 tomorrow in his game, and you say, well, Ship's going to be the primary creator. I'm going to be like, that'll work okay. And then Alvaro comes in for the Ship role as the support guy. That'll be okay too.
And then Gustav would be somewhere in the back somewhere.
Well, trying to figure out the back line is going to be horrible because we still don't have Brad. We still don't have O'Neal. We won't have
So we
Kelvin.
don't think we have Brad again this week. Still,
Yeah,
right?
we'll talk about Friday
Okay.
after we.
We
I mean,
will
we got
get
2
to
more
that.
games to
Yeah.
recap. So
So-
those are my 3 great players from that
I want
game.
to get something from you, but I want to talk to Mark first. Mark,
What did I
stop
do?
checking your email. Anything specific you want to jump on? I know you had, what were you, last 20 on the
Yeah,
field?
at last 20, so we got to see the goal.
But beyond that, anything jump out at you? Thought that was interesting, just from seeing different players on the field? Actual soccer analysis? Just say no.
Yeah,
beer
that's
was
enough.
cold.
Yeah, I had a lot of Rainier.
Okay. So Mark had a lot of Rainier.
Yeah.
He was on the field
That
for
was
the goal.
Nice view. Your view.
The goal at the end.
When Alvaro was like serving it up on a platter, I
Yeah.
think that's what his hand gesture.
Yeah.
That was to
How'd
you,
that
wasn't
work
it?
out for you?
We were trying to figure out how to sneak drinking rum on the field.
There you go.
All right.
There you
So,
go.
Coog.
I have some questions for you, go.
And then
Yeah.
James Bullard flat out said he wants a full recap of your weekend announcing experiences. So A, I want to hear your thoughts on the game, but B, I'd love to hear
For
your
sure.
experience. Ugo, for those that don't know or didn't realize from last week, did the Stadium
Yeah.
PA with James Willard again,
Yes.
which was awesome. And I had talked to people on Twitter. I was in when I was down traveling.
Yeah.
People were like, "Who's this guy that isn't James Willard?" And I had tagged Ugo on Twitter,
That was
and it
cool,
was
man.
kind of
That was- I
fun.
saw that
But it
comment.
was
That was
neat to
pretty
see
cool.
that people were excited about it.
Yeah, man, it was definitely third time working at the Clink. It's always learn and pick something new. The crew there that works with James, man, they do quality work, and it's literally like 5-6 people sitting pretty much like we're sitting here in a row, kind of going over everything. It was a lot of fun, man.
It seemed very seamless.
Yeah. Dude, they did a killer job at the first match with everything they had to do with the presentation of the banner, but same thing with this one, man. It was a lot of fun.
Do they cue you the same way they cue him? Like you have the sheets and they kind of line him up. Do they do the same thing
pretty
for you?
much. So there's certain things that were said in Spanish and English. Not everything was said in Spanish and English. So certain things would be him, and then I would follow right after saying the same thing. So the one that was probably more intense that we wanted to make sure we nailed was the presentation, the pre-game presentation of the Emerald Spire.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to make sure we explained who was
Stop.
picking it up.
No, the Emerald Spire thing. I'm starting to like it mainly because I'm seeing what other teams are giving people, and it's like a signed jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the piece of paper we found on the printer.
And plus, like I saw this cool pic from I think Jeffrey Carlisle had it, the Panama. They get those little pennants, and they keep them and put them on a wall in the stadium. Great,
Which is cool.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. And an Emerald Spire on a shelf there would look awesome, right? But like a jersey, like I don't know. I'm not saying that Los Thunderbolts are doing it wrong, but a jersey. Okay, so back to your announcing story.
It was really cool. Got to announce Stephanie and other members of the Alliance Council, but we have to make sure, he did a part, I did a part. Going back to he did a part and I did a part. Making sure we mention Adrian. I mentioned Adrian in Spanish to Adrian Anauer.
Adrian.
Adrian.
Did you say Anauer?
Oh, yeah,
That's
I said Adrian.
fantastic.
Oh, yeah, no question.
Ugo.
Yeah. And then, so it was cool, man. I think it worked really well, and we had a lot more of back and forth, him and me.
Did you announce their roster?
Yeah, I did. I went over the roster.
What was your favorite name of theirs to pronounce?
Jairo Gonzalez.
Ooh, is it
Because
J-I-R-O?
And
Yeah.
I definitely emphasize the Jairo Gonzalez because that was my brother's name.
Ah,
So my
perfect,
brother
yeah.
was there at the match. So I made sure I kind of emphasized the first name a little bit more and kind of thank him for taking my dad. He wasn't feeling
Yeah.
good. My dad wasn't feeling good, but they still showed up and came in and watched
That's
the match
great.
to support. And
I miss your
hear
dad.
me out. Yeah, he was down there. He was in non-GA, so he was there. But on the announcing part, man, a lot of fun. You know, obviously I'm not going to do the goal for them in a hype way. You know, I tend to not hype up the opponent's goal. So, but I still got it out there. I know, man. I didn't want to do it.
Did it?
Estúpido gol de Honduras.
Este gol no me gusta.
Did you announce their player numbers?
Yeah, I did.
What was
No
it
me
like to
gusta.
announce 302?
I actually didn't get to do that one.
Oh.
Yeah, I did not get to do that one, but I did get to announce. the
Everybody's
coach.
like, 302, huh?
Yeah.
They're going deep on their bench.
They had a few.
Golazo. No.
No, it's
No
Lasso.
lasso.
No Lasso's better. No Lasso. They had 2 or 3 guys with like 300 or 200 numbers, man. Yeah, dude. We had to double check it.
You're like, oh.
You know, I was surprised there wasn't more subs because there wasn't like barely any subs in the first
Yeah.
half.
Well,
And-
that's because the Sounders didn't have anybody healthy. They had no one to sub.
And I'm guessing they maybe didn't either, but there just wasn't as
Seven
many as I
dudes
was.
back in.
Yeah. Yeah. But on the player side, on our end, I really like. I focus more on the S2 players because I have that connection with them in the sense that I announced for them a lot last season. So seeing
And will be this season.
and will be this season. So you know, I looked a lot at Lorenzo. I looked at Zach,
Mathers.
Tony Alfaro. So he actually, I thought he started off a little bit rusty, but then he redeemed himself a lot and played really well. Also, of course, the rookie Brian.
Brian Nanasingham.
Yep. So he also played really well, and he played the next day.
I was going to say, and
You got to see a lot of him.
Yeah, I did. And he looked good, man. He looked good. I think I would not be. I mean, I know it's super early. I know this is a friendly and S2, but because of our depth issues right now with injuries on the ends, I would not be shocked if he got minutes Friday.
Well, they'd have to sign him to a deal because he's on a USL contract right now.
Nanasingham?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
But he would be very happy with
Yeah.
that. I mean, that's kind of how Andy Craven got his his second MLS contract was when the team was short players and like we got to call up Andy.
Yep. I totally would not be shocked.
Yeah.
Because I mean, granted, it is USL, but it is a USL side that brings older players, faster players.
Sammy.
And Sammy Ochoa and Moffat.
Adam Moffat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and he's shown, man. He did well.
He's looking pretty good. I think one of the things with Nanasingham to follow, he kind of needs to settle. I hope for his sake, they settle on a position because he has played right back, center back, and now left back within the organization. I love that flexibility. That is a positive, but at the same point, if you want to develop a guy into talent, sometimes it's good to just sit at one place. And one of the things, because he didn't play right back or left back in with Stanford, his crossing isn't great. And so if that's where his future is going to be, he needs to be out wide,
Right.
running up and down the field constantly and rehearsing that action.
Yeah. So I really like seeing a lot of the young guys. I thought Zach Mathers played really well. He was moving a lot, and he was pushing and nonstop. Yeah, man, I like the young guys how they stepped up a lot for that friendly. It's a friendly, but they still
As
played
friendlies go,
Yeah.
it was funny, like in hearing how people talked about it, they seemed less displeased
Right.
than they had before. Not that like the gameplay was epic or anything like that, but people were like, okay, like if you're going to be playing teams that are kind of in form, and have a mix and match of first team players and not, that works out.
Yeah.
So, just in having had a number of conversations with Taylor Graham and a lot of the folks at the front office, they very much want people to want to go to the friendlies for obvious reasons. Like
Right.
they built it into their schedule and your season ticket plan and so on. Dave has a comment.
I mean, they can want it, but again, they had 46,000 for the banner raising.
For
They
sure.
they said 36,000 distributed, and let's be
You're talking 25, 30.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, I know
Honestly,
dozens
this
of
was too
people
much
that
of a
tried to move
weekend.
their tickets and they couldn't.
Right. This weekend is a good example of the original promise of S2. It'll be Friday nights mostly on the weeks when Sounders are traveling, and so on. And everybody was like, "Oh my God, I would totally do that." But you had home game, you had national games the night before, you had S2 on Sunday.
dude.
It was a lot of commitment to people
Yeah.
to go do stuff. That kind of conversation aside, it is what it is at this point.
Yeah.
We're not going to really get around it. But I will say, playing against a team that is actually in the middle of their season feels so much better
Oh, for sure.
than playing against
Yeah.
a team on their summer vacation.
I definitely would have liked to seen one of their players though who plays from Chile, but of course he wasn't there. 'cause
Pooch. Yeah.
So Pooch. So
We, as we were saying prior, Dave only reads stuff and doesn't
Yeah.
have. I'm gonna have to figure that out.
well, he
how to say
won-
people's names
he won
real soon.
Univision's, player of the league last year, player of the year, and he was the first foreign player to win that for Univision last season for Liga MX.
Didn't Landon win it once?
Well,
No.
yeah, not gonna happen. Nah. Yeah, exactly.
No,
And
the-
he actually jumped. Did you guys see he jumped off a taco
people from
truck?
Mexico love
Did
Landon.
you see that?
Love him seriously,
Yeah.
no doubt.
I'm not kidding you.
He did.
Landon
Yeah, I
Donovan
know.
did.
But
I know.
it was very arranged and
It was
contrived.
pretty lame.
Shocking.
It was lame.
Kirk did it better.
Way better.
And it wasn't even close.
Speaking of taco trucks, I did get to announce the greatest announcements I've ever announced at the Clink.
You said one goal, one taco.
Yeah.
How did it go? Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do it right now.
Por cada gol que los Sounders metan en casa, les vamos a dar un taco por cada gol con un máximo de 4 goles.
So
was
that's
fun.
you can get up to 4.
Yeah, pretty much.
Even I knew that.
Good job.
Yeah, no, it was fun though, man. It was fun. And seeing, being able to do, work there, and see that everybody really liked the Spanish and English
That's great, Chris.
announcements and the back and forth. That it sounded good from everybody that I heard. For the most part, has been pretty good feedback. That gives encouragement that maybe they'll try to do it more for even friendly Liga MX opponents, maybe for a regular match.
I'd love that you get it for a regular match. And I find a lot more value in the Liga MX friendlies as a means of outreach, particularly
Right.
at this point.
Right.
You know,
Me
early
too.
on, part of the concept of friendlies is, well, we'll get people will try our team once and they'll get to see them against somebody that they know, and then they'll decide to support
Right.
local. And there are stories about, I went to the Chelsea game, I went to the Barcelona game. Those are big draws, and those got people to try the Sounders out. And I hope we see more of, Tijuana, Wagares, Necaxa. I'd love,
Cruz Azul, bring him Cruz Azul, man.
Cruz Azul, Monterrey, Santos Laguna.
Yeah.
Like, give me the big guns
Yeah.
and
Tigres.
bring them up
Oh
here.
my God, if they bring Tigres, oh man.
And get me,
Wow.
get me the 69,000 experience. Bring the big ones in,
Right.
and hit me big time
I love seeing
because
kids,
it's fun. Because
yeah.
the family where the kids are wearing
Yeah.
the Sounders gear and the
Yeah,
parents are
dude.
wearing the
Like
the
that's when I got
Liganos.
nervous. So I
Yeah.
wasn't nervous because now this is my third time, but I got nervous when I started seeing Hispanic families in the video shots that they did, and I'm like, oh yeah, man, these kids are gonna possibly hear, Spanish like they hear at home, but at the stadium.
Yeah.
To me, that was just very touching. Like, yeah, don't mess up.
That's a great way to do friendlies. And,
yeah.
And so I might be more excited. And then we're going to get Eintracht Frankfurt later this year. And that'll just be fun because we don't watch German soccer all that often.
And it's really good.
So
Also, my dad, I was really proud to be able to announce the Mexican national anthem. I don't know why, it just
well, I know why.
Yeah, you know why, but yeah, it just feels good, man. And I had a lot of friends that are like, I got the chills hearing you announce it. So I was like, LFG.
That's great.
Yeah.
Any other kind of insider things that you have to share for working the game on Saturday?
I did get to see, as we're eating pregame stuff, I did get to see, didn't get to invite him to the show, but I got to see Seattle Times guy.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, kept eating.
Hi there, Jeff.
Oh, yes.
Jeff is probably too busy talking about the viability.
There's an
of
emerging
the bottom
song.
right now.
From off screen, Adam mentioned it, that there's a song that ECS is busting out
Yeah.
all in Spanish. Can you demo
Shout
it for
out,
us right
I
now?
Sure can. Para ganar los Sounders, para ganar los Sounders se necesita meter muchos goles. Meter muchos goles aquí y allá, aquí y allá, aquí y allá. Vamos, Sounders.
It is good.
Vamos, Sounders. So, yeah, man. And a friend of ours who is in Barra, Jose Vasquez, he's been trying to get that song going for a couple years.
Yeah.
And
There's some good video of it.
Dude, I
where
saw
the
it.
joke over the weekend, we were like, wow, half of this group knows what they're doing, and the other half is super awkward and uncoordinated.
I remember the first time I saw that
Yeah, like,
was
at all.
after winning the Western Conference final, greeting the team afterwards.
yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
Torres.
about a dozen Labarra got with Torres and Alonso and a couple
Yeah.
of the other Hispanic players
Dude.
and started singing it, and Torres started singing along. And
And playing the guitar to it.
they dig it. Like they
Yeah, man.
dig it so
anything
much.
like that at scale is going to go over really
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's always fun to have new songs. So
For sure.
I'm excited. It's good to have tried it out with just a different group in there, see what happens. Let's try it with 2000, and see
oh
what
my
you get
God.
out of it.
And then big shout out to Dry Side supporters because they wanted, they pushed online like, hey, we're really
For sure.
excited to get this song. Vara threw out a couple of videos on the YouTube page that had the lyrics of the song, how it's being sang, so that people can start getting used to it. The ones that haven't heard it because we've seen it here for the away viewings pretty often. And we've sang it at a couple away matches. We sang it in Toronto pre-game and then during the game. And we sang it at the Portland away last year pre-game as well. So it's
They
getting
sang
there.
it. You didn't sing anything
Yes.
in Toronto.
And S2.
Mark, where's your ticket?
Was it? The West?
In my
yeah,
backpack.
that was. Yeah, I remember that. S2 yesterday. I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome, man.
So anything else from Saturday night that we want to touch on?
Nuhu Tolo.
Yes.
Nuhu now.
Nuhu. Officially.
66 great minutes. And then his defensive effort completely collapsed. Like, late in the game, Necaxa went right at him, I think like 4 times in a row. And you knew they created so many chances going at him.
Yeah.
And you knew if they were going to score, it was going to be going at him. And unfortunately, that was how they scored.
Yeah.
I liked what I saw the first 66 minutes, but he faded. It's kind of unfortunate.
But he's young, and that's a learning opportunity.
It is. Agreed. And I mean, that's kind of what you have to look at that
Yeah, for
for. So then we all actually had to wake up on Sunday. Yeah. And
Soccer Sundays.
S2
Yeah.
at
Yeah,
2 in the rain.
Yeah.
S2D2.
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 So actually,
Indeed.
I do need to give Emily and Larry a shout out for running a 2-pole convention basically last week, Thursday and Friday night. Just putting together some great stuff for S2. So there's a Oh Look Choo Choo, which
That
I have a
was
photo
great.
of. S2D2.
Was that Heather, though? Was S2D2? It was Heather, I think, right?
I think
Heather Stewart.
They were all in
Oh.
that group. Yeah, I don't know. I was in the section yesterday. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Jake off the screen says I'm wrong.
there was a bunch of really good ones yesterday. It was fun. It was
And
a good time.
That front rail at Starfire now, basically it starts, and eventually the entire rail will be front rail, whether the section or not. It's pretty
Which is
apparent.
great.
It's going to be, and then you can even see Heather, who does all the player-specific 2-poles, not in GA.
Yeah.
She puts
First-
those up on the west side 300s where you can see them all during the game as
I'm
well.
really happy that they've made that happen.
Yeah,
Inside.
It's just above the
Inside
loge,
CenturyLink. Yeah.
and so it's in a concourse space where until we get to 50K again,
Right.
It's unused space. So it's
Yeah. It's great.
perfect compromise to get
it's
more
fun
color
to see
into the
that
stadium.
happen in both places, frankly. And Heather, if you want to go by and say hello or give her a high five, she's right when you get into the stands at Starfire, up that first aisle. She's always kind of up by the post at the top.
Yep.
And yeah, we had stopped by and said hello to her yesterday.
S2 needs to do a fan of the year, and it needs to be her for every single year.
Just keep
Right?
that going.
Yeah.
Right? Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah,
she's all over that.
yeah, respect.
So
Love.
S2 yesterday.
yeah.
I had lunch with a couple of folks from the front office today about some things, and we were just talking about USL and overall expansion and various things. And one of the conversations we were having in the stands was this is actually the perfect example of two teams that are treating USL very, very differently. So Sacramento's there to put a competitive team on the field,
Yeah.
but obviously they have sights on MLS
Yes.
and getting an expansion. They've been selling a 5-digit number of tickets to matches for a
Right.
fair amount of
And
time.
they had about 10
Yeah,
people come up
5,
here.
yeah.
Maybe 15 people come up here.
But even like on a Sunday,
Yeah.
and so they're looking to like field a competitive team and do certain things, both in their stadium and on the field. Sounders are looking at this as developmental. It's not a revenue stream that they're focused on, at least
Wow.
right now.
It's not a revenue
They would
stream.
love it to be a revenue stream. It is not. But it was interesting to see, and that's who. There's a lot of teams that are on both sides of that coin at USL right now, just with how that tier of
Yeah.
soccer has gone in this country. And it's interesting to just go and watch and like, I don't know, some part of us yesterday thought we were all going to get our clocks cleaned.
Yeah.
Like, are they going to try and drop 5 on you? Like, I don't know what we're going to get.
Yeah, right.
And part of that's too, like, you signed a bunch of players 2 days, like 3
Pre-
days before
yeah,
the match.
yeah.
You don't really know. I think that's I think going to be an interesting thing to keep working through every year. It's
Well-
like, okay, what am I going here to see?
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
totally.
if you're the Sounders, you're going for purely development. But let's point out a few things. Some of these other developmental squads, the Commissioner's Cup last year, which is the USL regular season title, Red Bull 2. The West, the number 2 team was Rio Grande Valley FC. That's the Houston affiliate.
Yep.
They're all soccer operations are done by Houston, so they're basically Houston 2. And the 5th team was the LA Galaxy 2, and the Vancouver Whitecaps finished 2nd. In the East, no, the East was dominated by Independents outside of Red Bull 2. Orlando City was in 7th as the best developmental side. But so developmental doesn't have to mean losing. I mean, look at what Tulsa and St. Louis did in the West. So the winning and losing doesn't necessarily make a difference. The emphasis on development doesn't have to mean a difference between winning and losing.
yeah.
It just has happened to here.
It has. Yeah. In
but
this case, and that was more of the point.
T2 and Whitecaps 2, the Thundercaps.
We didn't
they
plan
do
that.
they do better
That was awesome.
at wins and losses, and both of them do better at gate. So there are some things. S2 in its talent development has done a fine job, at or above league average in developing contributors.
I agree, man. We've gotten some good player development going up.
So let's come back to you, Ugo. So you
You got to call that game too.
Yeah.
worked the booth for that
Yeah.
in English and Spanish.
Yes. It was awesome.
You too can hire Ugo.
I definitely
Garcia.
feel a lot more comfortable in the role. Definitely feel more.
There were people who said, I didn't realize that was the same guy
Yeah.
yesterday, which was funny. But I'm like, yeah, he's probably not in CenturyLink Field like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'd be happy to.
Let's
Do we still do the
go.
oh yeah, let's go, the call and repeat?
So we
on
didn't,
the goals?
We didn't on the first one, but we are going to be doing it more.
So so if we go to S2,
Yeah.
Hugo goes.
Yes.
When Hugo goes after the
Yes.
goal, oh yeah.
It's just fun, man. And dude, I don't.
In the
even know how-
past, the
honestly,
stands turn around and go, let's go.
We did that.
Okay,
So
good,
we did
good.
Let's
Yeah.
Go this
Yeah.
time. So that's what we did. I switched it to the oh yeah, let's go without the call and repeat.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it would have been too long. just to try it out.
It's never too long.
Well, for me, it probably isn't. But
By the way, "Oh Look Choo Choo," that song, it's now anytime the train's coming.
Yes, dude.
I think it happened 4 times yesterday.
Yeah.
Do we still sing 99 even though he's not
No.
here because he scored in the 9th minute to start?
We did not sing that.
Though there was a 99 on the
There
pitch,
was.
and when I announced it, a little something in me was like, "Oh man."
Who
You
wore
almost cried
99?
inside.
Felix Chenkam.
Oh, yeah, the forward, the Cameroonian U20 forward.
Okay. Yeah. So he came in. I want to say like the 70th minute or so. Came in number 99, and it was definitely.
So, actually turned out to be a decent game to watch.
Yeah.
It was nice to be out of the rain.
I thought, especially in the first half, I was surprised
Yeah.
how well they played.
Felt good.
Considering they had just got signed like 3 days before.
Yeah.
Yeah, like half of that team didn't even play in the preseason friendlies.
No.
Like, they might have practiced twice.
Right.
Like,
No, and then honestly, that goal caught me off guard. Like, what? Oh, yeah, let's go. Oh.
Who had the
Let's
chest
go.
pass on that? They weren't credited on an assist,
No, I didn't announce the assist.
but there was the goal that Brian Nanasinkum scored was a free kick that was a chest deflection
Might have been Irvin.
to Nanasinkum.
Might have been Irvin.
It was so cute. Like, I want to draw that up because like that seems designed, and if you can pull that
Yeah.
off regularly, it's so much fun.
Yeah, dude.
So it's pretty awesome.
It's
I like that. We got a new beat guy out there for S2. You might have met him.
yeah.
Scott Burbridge is writing most of our S2 stuff. I'm gonna
I did
I'm gonna do a
meet-
little bit, and then we have Wendy will do like 1 or 2 stories a month as well.
nice.
We're kind of changing up on how we do the recap. We're going to talk about the 3 best players overall, talk about the best academy kid, like the
Okay.
best one that isn't signed to a contract.
Nice.
Do a little promotion power ranking kind of thing. It's going to be fun.
Olsen played a lot. Any other academy? Who else?
Well, Shannon Hopiao.
Hopiao. Lorenzo, but he played last year. But I think this year's his first year with a contract.
Yeah, he's on contract this
Contract
year.
with them.
He played for the 2
Academy.
previous seasons as an academy.
Yeah.
Because the academy players can play on an amateur contract, can play up. There are 14 of them this year that they announced ahead of time.
And Lorenzo is like one of the vets, the veterans.
He's a
on the team.
19-year-old who's already got in his third season.
Third season. Yeah.
So that's going to be fun. You have Hopiao, who came here from Hawaii, which is within the catchment area. You've got Lorenzo, you've got David Olson, and and Shea Adekoya, who has been loaned down to S2.
Yep.
So that's 4 guys with like academy roots. It's the biggest on-contract academy route that S2's had, and it's some of the most exciting talent. David was a Herman Trophy nominee and was a semifinalist when
Yeah.
George Morris won it. So that's fun.
Meredith, man, Brian Meredith had a hell of a game. Even though they scored him, he was getting. They started bombing on us in the last 15 minutes of that match, and there was one missed goal.
That back line was young.
The
Sam
double
Rogers.
post?
Yeah, yeah, that double post was crazy.
That's, I think between this one, the one last year, and the one in 15, I think that's the most double posts I've seen in my entire life.
I've it's a fun roster. I like what they've done,
I do.
and knowing everybody who's on it right now, like announcing the academy ahead of time and announcing those 2 loans, which is something we haven't had that level of transparency about loans in the past. So kind of knowing who's going to be there on a given week will help the people here in South King County that want to go to local soccer know, oh, okay, I'm going to see that guy from the first team today.
Right.
So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for what they're doing. I really like Sam Rogers. I don't like him as a center back. He is the 6'4" center back.
Yep.
He is 18. He plays in the academy.
Yeah.
In the preseason, he was playing as a defensive mid, and he has these soft, supple feet. Like
soft, supple.
you can,
Soft, supple feet.
like people can blast a pass into him, and he just absorbs all of
Yeah.
it right in there.
Yeah.
Well positioned, not necessarily fast, offers some fun height in set piece situations. Not necessarily nimble, but it's going to be fun watching him. One of the areas he needs to improve is his willingness to tackle, and so that might be why they're using him as a center back, because the team, from what I've heard in talking to the academy and S2 coaching staff, is his futures as a defensive mid. Again, as a 6'4" defensive mid, Shalry Joseph like essentially.
Wow.
You know, that's going to be like. Sam is going to be a lot of fun. He's headed off to Villanova at the end of the summer, so it's going to be you can watch him develop for 2/3 of the USL season.
Hey, man, I'll take it.
Thanks
Somebody
for
mocked me,
Villanova.
and now I've got a tweet.
Just one.
And there was a pretty good sized crowd yesterday.
It was good.
They looked
You know,
pretty good sized to me,
it
especially
was the
after
one side.
I've got
Friday after Saturday. No, it was rainy. It was raining all game.
Yeah.
Shout out to the ball girls. They got soaked the whole.
Someone over at the where the ECS section is, someone got the ball girl their Sounders jacket, gave them one for a while,
Yeah.
and they ended up getting one of them their own. They were soaked.
They almost seemed like a dry one to swap out,
Right?
You know what I'm saying?
Seriously. There were a couple of points where it was coming down, and you're like, I have a T-shirt on and a sweatshirt. I'm comfy. Yeah.
They announced 11:15 for the game,
Okay. Well,
solid.
you know,
which
That's fine.
means you said 10 came from Sacramento. They were happy, and
they were.
I think it sounds like the 1,000-ish. Despite the result, you had an enjoyable time.
Yeah.
We have new beer, Odin. Odin Brewing is up there.
Odin is
Yeah,
great
come up.
stuff.
Yeah. So we had a pale
Shout
ale.
out to Odin
And they had a
because
Big
they hired
Al's,
my
by
good
the
friend
way.
Al.
Did they? Is that
Al from the
Big Al's shuttered,
right?
but Odin
Al?
hired Alejandro Brown. He works with them now.
So they had a Big Al beer under the Odin. Label.
Maybe.
That's what they were pouring. But-
They probably have. There's probably a lot of kegs of Big Al still
Right.
around. And so shout out to them. South King County original.
Yeah,
I mean,
man.
We don't have a
Miss you-
lot of
gonna miss you,
breweries
Center, man.
out here in the Tukwila, Kent, Renton,
Yeah,
Auburn area.
I feel bad that
There's a cidery out in
going to that
Enumclaw.
brewery every weekend. Oh man,
I've got big faith for Big Al because he first huge Sounder Heart events that we did was a viewing party that was going to raise money for Kazo existed and had a facility up on Capitol Hill, and Big Al did a beer donation, and we
Wow.
raised like $4,000 for Kingdom Hope.
Wow,
So
that's huge.
Big Al loved what he did in the soccer community. Obviously, he had partnered with Gorilla on a couple of different beers that they've done.
It's partnered with a number of people.
I think you guys, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Way back when.
Brom Bitter?
I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a while, but yeah,
nice.
And you guys have a new
So-
beer.
we do have a new beer.
That was announced last week on Tuesday. We skipped that when we...
Two weeks ago.
Did we talk about it last week?
Yeah, we talked about
Yeah.
it
Last week
because
was
we were
rough.
like, wait, Sean Wheeler was drinking it at home because he had bought like a mini keg or something,
Yeah,
a pony
growler.
keg.
How was the wine?
How was what?
Were you a wine ultra?
I did not. I had a beer. I did not white wine ultra yesterday. I know.
I was so disappointed.
It was week one. I hadn't had any beer all weekend.
Because you had the Riesling.
Yeah, you had the right
Yeah. I had a Riesling
in long
in
view.
Longview. I didn't have the Riesling. I had iced tea.
That was a good week of a lot of soccer.
Yeah.
That was
And we've got a good week of a lot of soccer coming
So
up.
it was a little bit hectic for a minute. So we've got a little bit more than a half an hour left, so we can talk about kind of what's coming up in the next week or so. We definitely have some newsy things to discuss.
Oh,
We sort of teased it, not really, a little bit, but due to a number of factors, we are going to move the FIFA tournament.
Yeah.
So we were originally planning on doing it next week. Obviously, any of the people that
you would have heard a lot about it if that was
quite
yeah.
a bit.
Yeah.
All the necessary parties that have want to volunteer for things or provide prizes and other things that we're all talking to some of them in the background right now. but we have a couple of dates. We have one date in May, one in June, one in July, I think right now. So
We should talk.
yeah, we've got a few date options right now, but that weekend was a little bit tough
Yeah.
with the Friday night game. S2 was at 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon that same day, and there was just a lot of conflict.
And that's an S2 game you want to go to because it's T2.
It's
T2.
T2. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Is that the same one they're having Academy right before?
it seemed like a good idea to shift. So it'll be relatively soon. We hope to lock the date in, but we are going to be doing the
Yeah.
tournament.
Shout out to all the folks that have reached out
yeah.
to still want to donate prices.
We'll make
and
it
then
happen.
Meet up. Yes, it will happen. And thank you. We'll be in touch. We'll be in contact.
It's coming.
It is coming.
So anyway, so
It
that's
is
one
coming.
kind of newsy thing. I'm getting called out for saying newsies. Let's not talk about Mr. Bale's movie.
So
Go back and watch Newsies. You'll be amused by who's in it.
Okay.
we,
Batman.
real quick, this week's got a lot of action.
No.
Let's cover it quickly, and then we'll go deep into the couple of games. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Because Tuesday, you're going to watch your United States national team, plus
And
you got
Mexico.
Uruguay, Trinidad, Panama, Mexico. If you
What
have
time,
to.
Dave?
5:30? It's at Panama.
No, Mexico. What time's Mexico?
I don't care.
Who cares?
Come on, man. You need to care. You need
Um,
to care. I
Double
want you
check
to
me. Might be
care.
4:30.
Our producer is looking it up right
Okay,
now.
yeah.
I
So
always wanted to say that.
That's United States at Panama, so we're going to see Clint Dempsey versus Roman. And
I haven't seen any of those Twitter posts. Have you? Has anybody else seen those? What? Like one of the broadcasters has like Torres. It's like the boxing pose where they're like facing each other. I was like, can we put pie on Torres's face?
oh, that's good. That's good. Hold on. Yeah.
So it looks like this.
Yeah. He's busy. He's looking
He's
up the
looking
numbers.
stuff.
It's important.
So anyway,
So-
this is happening.
Really busy Tuesday in
5
international
p.m.
soccer. 5 p.m. And then
What
for
time
the important
is
game.
Make on?
I'm gonna say later.
7:05.
Doesn't matter.
7:05.
7:05. It
So-
matters, baby. It matters.
Really?
So 7:05.
Aren't they on the road?
They are on the road in Trinidad.
And it
Alright.
starts 7 our time?
Maybe
Our-
it's
our
4
game-
time.
That's
Our
got to be
game-
4 our time.
Our game it says 7:05, which this always shows me.
Oh, you're
what we
talking
are for
Panama.
here. Yeah.
Panama,
nobody gives a
United
shit about
States,
Mexico.
7:05.
That we do. Yes, we do.
Check your local listings for soccer.
Check
Friday,
what time Mexico
Yeah, 'cause wouldn't
plays.
that be
Atlanta
like
United come
9 o'clock. in
come here to
Panama?
It is.
CenturyLink
It's
Field.
7:05 Pacific.
I was trying to get us a quick hits to preview what we're.
Yep.
And then we'll get bogged down by not knowing details.
That's right. Well, it'll be sometime Tuesday, folks. I'll tweet you guys what time Mexico plays. Don't worry.
If you want to watch Nicolas Lodero play versus Peru, they're at 7:15, but you have to have BN Sports.
4 p.m.
Come on over.
4 p.m. Pacific time is Mexico versus
Oh,
Trinidad.
so you can watch
The second
watch
half.
Mexico, 4 o'clock,
4 o'clock.
and then after that you get about an hour, and then you can watch Panama
Yep.
and Estados Unidos. Marcos.
See,
So anyway, so that's
Then we
tomorrow.
go into
That's tomorrow, so we're really busy. Friday night, Fox Sports 1 doubleheader. We are the second game. Atlanta United, thankfully short a few players here
especially
at,
that one
at
guy.
home. It's going to be fun. I get to
And,
see all you guys
Friday
again.
night.
All our players are going to be here.
Kind of not really.
Kind of not really. That's
They
great.
might be here. I
We'll-
don't know
we'll
if
go
they're
in
all gonna
depth.
play.
it's going to be
Yeah.
wild.
But it's going to be fun.
Oh yeah,
It is.
Big TV
Friday
game,
night.
Big TV game.
Last
Love
game at home
Friday games.
for a month.
Month.
MLS After Dark.
We need 3 points so bad.
So we're going to have that blast, and then again, S2, T2 on Sunday. So let's dive deep now.
Dive.
That was
deep.
my goal. I was trying to
Dive
get
deep
it
Well
with
done.
Dave.
shallow and then
Dive deep.
That
with
was a
Dave.
good.
That needs to be a
That was
graphic.
a good.
Yes.
Let's dive deep now.
With Dave.
Oh, so I could just get like a picture of Michelle.
Oh, there was a guy named Michel Garcia there.
Anyway,
That-
I got it. Yeah, got it.
Did you get it? Yeah.
So yeah,
We'll
that
just have,
international
like,
soccer is
dive
going to kind
flag.
of mess with
We'll just show
the
Emily's
lineup
video.
available
For
on
basically
Friday.
everyone.
Ever,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because for Atlanta, they lost Joseph Martinez to injury when
big
he was
one.
representing Venezuela. And like a lot of teams, like Miguel Almiron, who is their best player, discovered by Chris Henderson. He will be coming from South America to Atlanta, then to Seattle between Tuesday and Friday.
That sounds fun.
So unlikely he will start even if he's healthy. Again, on Seattle's side, Clint Dempsey, Torres coming back from Panama. They might not be able to play. Jovan Jones from Trinidad. So Jovan might have the legs for it because he's a bit young, but those other two are not young.
Yeah.
And the fact that, again, 3 weeks ago, Clint Dempsey was supposed to be like an afterthought for the U.S. team.
I think we kind of squashed
So who's
that.
going to score 4?
Yeah, and then Jordan got injured in the win and didn't play for the U.S., so he got sent home early and he's probably not going to play here. O'Neal Fisher's still injured. Brad
You
Evans
honestly
still
think
injured.
he's not going to play?
He didn't play. Yeah.
Well, no, I feel like they brought him down there. They decided that it wasn't worth pushing him, so let's just send him home. He can recover.
I think if they thought that he would be able to play, they'd use him tomorrow night. So
Yeah, but if they thought not pushing him that early, I don't know.
still without Brad, still without Aaron
Maybe I'm
Kovar.
just hopelessly optimistic.
Hopefully,
So that-
optimistic it is.
That
sir.
starting lineup you saw against Necaxa could be pretty close to that.
That's what I mean, Brian.
So we're going to get some Wingo
Not a
Bruin
sicko.
minutes.
Flacco starting.
Maybe Deuce will just show up and play 90.
Then again,
Why not?
He'll just say,
If he
"Fuck
scores 3 in the first half of tomorrow's match,
and then they pull him.
he can just play on Friday. It'll be fine.
Sets the record, beats Landon in one game. Remember when I was 6 goals back from Landon Donovan?
Not so
Later.
much.
That's excellent. All right, so new team on Friday night. Also, Friday night is a thing.
Love Friday night games.
Yeah.
So I'm
And blowing it
curious
out
to see what that's going to be like
on
in Seattle.
Fox.
Yeah, me too, man.
I agree. From a television standpoint, I think it's great.
They've got Toronto and Sporting KC for their early game. Sporting, for people that like soccer, it might be disappointing, but Toronto's fun, even without Giovinco, and maybe without Altidore, and without Bradley. Toronto might not be that might be a brutal slugfest because that's already how Sporting
Where is
plays
it?
at
Is it
Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at Toronto without their 3 best players against Thugfest.
Good
Dom
luck.
Dwyer, hat trick.
Ooh. Yeah, so that'll be fun. It'll be good television at least.
But that's the first game.
So that's the
excited
first
for
game?
Dom Dwyer.
So when we're hanging
national
out
team.
at Merchants, Temple,
Gotcha.
Fuel, and whatnot,
that game will be on.
that's going to be the
Get
game.
your game on.
To get hyped during. And then Atlanta United probably won't travel a lot of fans for a Friday night game here, but they clearly have a lot of fans.
Sure. You never know. Delta may just buy a plane for them and fly them up here.
Yeah. You just know, like
Anyway.
He's got Home Depot money behind him too, blank, right?
I'm actually interested to see a new team and a new team that's good.
Yeah.
You know,
I'd rather see Minnesota right now. Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah, me too. I'd rather take
First
3
to
points.
5. That's the new motto. Anytime you play them, first to 5. Anyway, let's talk about Minnesota in a minute because that's actually worth discussing in some sick and horrible way. So Friday night, new team, good team,
Great
mixed up
coach.
Sounders lineup, yeah. But I would say a positive feeling Sounders club right now.
Oh, yeah, for
coming
sure.
into this,
For sure.
definitely want 3 points
Yeah, it's the last home game again for a month.
for a while. So get your soccer in.
Do it.
Get
Us
your new
and them.
songs in.
Yes.
Did you see that thing about, we had a fan post about whether or not CenturyLink Field is a fortress. And the evidence is it is, but it's also a parity-driven league, so the statistics aren't great. But we're a pretty damn good home team. And it'll be important to,
No, it's huge. I think it's
we
important.
got to get those 3 points
We
because we
really
got
do.
4 in a row on the road.
Yeah.
And
And points on the road.
that's
is
going to
so
be
hard
hard.
to buy.
It's hard to do, you know. 1 point on the road is significant. So
Yeah.
get 3 now and get
yeah.
3 in those 4
I'll
games.
take. Oh man, that would be huge.
So
I was hoping we could get 2. I would be good with 2.
we're at 4. We're right on pace right now.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of what you kind of, hoped would be adequate
And then Sunday S2 come
against
out.
T2. And they're going to
Yeah.
be hungry because that's what
They
they
are.
are. They have a former Sounders Academy player on their roster.
I think we've talked about this.
They signed
particular
Kyle
topic.
Bjorntham, who the Sounders drafted. He got the opportunity down there. He tried out for the first team here, didn't make it. Tried out for S2, got the offer from T2 and took that. So he's going to be, looking to prove himself, and that's going to be interesting. They had Gallagher last year from the Sounders, and I mean, the Timbers don't do great with their academy, but they do okay with their draft. So T2's been okay.
Yeah. It'll
It's
be fun,
there.
man. Come out. Come out.
You just want everybody to come out and listen to you talk in
Nah,
the
just
stadium.
come out.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
So let's talk about Minnesota for a minute. So they've let up
Minigola.
18 goals. Is that what it is?
That's
In
not,
4
that's
games?
not good.
18
No, I think
go-
more than that. They're 4 games in. They've given more than 4. They give up 5, 6, 4, 4, right?
What?
I think it's 18.
I guess I'm only counting 19. Did they only give up 3 in one game?
By Minnesota?
2.
Oh, that's right. They had the 2-2 game. So you're right. Correct. 18. They give up 5. They give up 6. They give up 2. They give up 4.
6-1 Atlanta at home. 2-2 at Colorado.
By the way,
5-2 at New England.
let's review that home game. Was in the snow
Wow.
against a team from the South.
Orange
and
ball.
somehow you did not have home field advantage. You're the
bad.
Minnesota team with snow on
Man, that sucks.
Venezuela. El
We
Byron
don't-
was Argentina.
We don't play them till August.
So they won't be better by then. Don't worry. They're pretty bad. I listened on radio. Thanks to Alexa, I can I pick up the home radio broadcasts on TuneIn, and I can get crap done around the house, which is great. New England hosted Minnesota, and New England got 3 penalty calls.
Yeah.
That
What?
defense is horrible.
Oh.
And some of it's Adrian Heat's fault, and some of it's whoever their general manager, like the talent level is bad. Like their offense
Dude.
should be okay, like roughly
Yeah.
passable, but their
Didn't we have a
defense.
Sounders guy there?
Damian Lowe used to be
Yeah.
there, but now he plays for the Sounders South in Tampa Bay.
What? Wait, what?
He's in
Oh,
Sounders
got it.
South in Tampa Bay. There are 2 Sounders that play for Tampa Bay. The other one is. Don't remember the other one at Tampa. There are 2 Sounders that are at Cincinnati, and then Jimmy Ockford's at Reno. But back to Minnesota. Like,
So Chivas USA
yeah.
had
Can we
let
not
up.
call them that anymore?
Well, they were a team that existed.
Can we just call them the other LA team? I don't want my brand
No.
associated with that team.
Then you shouldn't have had your Brad buy a team that they were going to treat like garbage.
Well, it
because that's
happened,
what they
but-
did. It's their fault.
But they don't. I don't want it to be. No.
I mean, there are
No.
a lot of things I don't
don't
want to be
care.
associated
No.
with things I like, but
No.
mistakes happen, and
So-
you made a
From
big
now
one.
on SonarFeed, we're
So the
referred to them as other LA team.
2005 Chivas USA team, which by the way was minus 36, 67 against.
You want to look at a really bad team? Look up the 2001 records. There's a team that only played 27 games and gave up more than, I think it was 68 or 69 goals.
2001?
Yeah. That was
But they
orig-
didn't. No, so it's okay. I know what you're talking
So
about.
they were originally supposed to play 30
the
that
bad
year?
record in 34 game season is Chivas.
Damn, I
Right,
never
but if
did
you look
know.
at goals against per game, check out the
It's
2001.
worse. 2001. Yeah.
2001 is worse, but they only played 27 games.
Right.
The league took a week and a half off, and after September 11th,
Yeah.
and teams that had games scheduled the weekend of September 11th just didn't make them up.
Whoa.
And
Got
so
it.
half the league has 27 games that year, and the other
Well,
half
we
has
look forward to
28.
playing them in August.
And there's
Twice.
some pretty
Whoa.
awful.
So anyway, so they've let up 18 goals
Jesus.
while
Jesus.
scoring 6.
Not good.
No.
If the record's 67, so what is it? Somebody said they're 27% of the way
Oh, my
there
God.
after 4 games. in theory,
They'll
one
be
would
there by
hope
the
it
time
would
we face them in
flatten out.
August.
We're not very good.
I don't know.
That's what they're all singing.
After
We're not-
so
we're
like
not-
the
we're
2-2
not-
match,
we're
I
not
was like,
very
yeah,
good.
they finally figured it out. Then they lost last week, and you're like,
Oh,
okay, let up
5.
5 goals again.
Adrian Heath was asked after practice today, so what's wrong with the defense? And he goes, I don't know. It's probably something to do with personnel and with tactics and with motivation.
Darwin Jones is the other
So
sounder.
basically, you just said anything that could be wrong
Is
with
wrong.
the defense
Yeah.
is wrong right now. He's like, some of it's me, some of it's the GM, some of it's the players. He's like,
that other players.
Darwin Jones. Yeah, so again, Tampa is Sounders South, Cincinnati is Sounders East.
So
Minnesota's bad.
really bad.
and I think
And
everybody thought
They're going to
they
have
were gonna be
30,000
bad.
plus at every game, though.
Everybody, right?
But they didn't-
everybody
they didn't
thought
sign anybody. They don't have
everybody
any
thought they were
names.
going to be bad.
They got names, man. Christian
and I had
Ramirez
this
and Miguel
conversation
Ibarra are
yesterday.
good players. Kevin Molino's a good player.
Jake and I had this conversation yesterday. Jake's just sitting off camera here about Adrian Heath and him being in Orlando and having had the quote unquote 3-year plan. We're gonna bring Jake in.
He
here for
had a
second.
year, but he only got a year and a
He had
half of it.
Quote 3-year plan where it was expected that they were going to be bad, and he was like, "We're going to be bad," and they were like, "Later."
But the first year he was there wasn't bad. It was mediocre.
Right.
And
But they were
mediocre
not-
for an expansion team is
right.
good.
And they were apparently not prepared for
Year
3-year
And then year 2, he
unstructuredness.
had like his first 10 games were
shit.
shit.
So here we are.
You can see Jake's chest on camera
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now.
That's awesome, Jake.
Cuddle time with Mark, with producer.
Just come over here.
Okay.
Oh, that was a lemon seed.
Come on. You can do it.
There we go. Now we're
There you
looking good.
are.
Jake, what's your thoughts about Adrian Heath? You're a Midwesterner native, right?
So, I'm not convinced by any means. I got friends that are Dark Clouds and like True North, like the supporting groups back there. And guess what? Minnesota fans are going to go to the game whether they get the record by week 5 or not. Like,
So what
those
you're saying
guys
is that they're
haven't-
going to let up 39 goals.
Could they get
This
up 40?
week.
Who do they play? Because they let up 5 against New England.
Okay.
But
So they're going to you expect attendance to stay flat. Stay at stat.
yeah, I mean, those guys have been waiting for MLS for a
They
decade.
had good attendance in the NASL.
What
They
was
had
the
good
record?
attendance.
What was
They
the
had good attendance in USL.
How big is their stadium?
They're playing at the Gopher Stadium,
TCF.
University of
It's actually
Minnesota.
a great college football stadium.
Um,
That's outdoors.
And they got about, I think it was 36,000 for their home opener,
That
which
was
is,
the opener. And they average probably mid-20s, I would probably, for the rest.
yeah, it's kind of funny. We're mid-20s, huh? That's it? And then you're like, oh, that's better than like all but
The
4 teams
entire
can
league.
do.
Yeah.
I need to watch more games in Orlando City
Kristen makes a
Stadium,
good
by
point
the way.
outside too, though, that all their supporter groups and even us when we had our bats, not as bad as that. It was a start, but you're gonna support through the thick and thin, man.
But these guys,
But that's not really true. Like when teams are that bad, people don't go. Like it
but that's the thing. Minnesota fans will still go.
The Vikings, man,
they almost lost the Timberwolves because people stopped going.
But that's
But
basketball.
So, okay.
Yeah.
So, good fill in, I think, on Heath specifically. Do we all expect this to just keep going for the rest of the season? Oh, I just almost watched
A BO
one of our
come at you.
servers go flying
someone
and
was about
die.
to come flying through the show.
Anyway, do we expect this to last out the season, or do we think they're going to make moves by midseason? And I definitely want to get Dave's perspective on this too. Jake, you and I talked about this. Do you think they won't make some moves come midseason?
Their original plan was to wait and sign DPs when they had their own stadium because they're getting their own stadium in downtown St. Paul. And
When?
it's going to be a Palace, but it's next year.
Oh, okay.
And that seems to be the wrong idea. Now, remember, they were added as an expansion team very late in the process. This was supposed to be LAFC 2, except LAFC, LA2 took like 2 extra years to get their stadium situation sorted out, and so the Minnesota owner was like,
Early.
We'll
Let's
go up.
Yeah.
and that's why they're playing in a college football stadium. They'll get their own stadium situation. That's forced kind of their hand with some payroll stuff because they didn't have access to MLS funds until like
halfway
3 months ago.
Like halfway through the transfer window.
Yeah, and they're kind of hosed by that, and it's not pretty for their fans. And they've got some great fans. They've got Dunord, DUNORD.com. He's like the godfather of team-specific blogging in MLS. I had a great lunch with him like 4 months ago. I only know him as Dunord. Bruce is his first name, but Dunord.com. Like, he is old school MLS blogger, but not MLS. Like, he blogged about every version of what Minnesota was because they went through so many brand changes and still survived. Like,
I mean, they're truly the only team in the league that deserves the name United.
DUNORD.
I'm excited for basically half the league to be named United.
And,
Yes.
and they are one that United
But they-
actually
but
makes
they
sense
just-
for it because they unite
Actually did.
St. Paul and Minnesota, and they're uniting 4 previous
Teams.
soccer team like brands under. They're like, we represent all of Minnesota's soccer history, not just the Kickers, not just the Stars, not just the Thunder. What one am I forgetting? And I see Stars, Thunder. There's a 4th one. So they're the Loons, and they're the Death Loons, and they have the best crest
Ever.
in the league. And if there wasn't a Target symbol on their jerseys, they'd have a great jersey too.
Yeah, but it's very Minneapolis.
Yeah, I love their blue. They do a
The
light
Target
blue,
logo
black,
is
No, no,
very
light blue,
Minneapolis.
black, and gray.
They should have just done Target
Well, Target's-
instead of the Target.
Target's partnership with the league is going to be like marketing guy. Like the fact that you can get, due to the partnership with Target, you will eventually in every MLS city be able to get MLS shit at Target.
Right.
And that
Which is great.
Is huge.
Yeah.
Like getting in front of just, soccer mom shopping at Target, to use a very 90s demographic stereotype.
Well,
But
you do. I mean, at some level, the MLS miss in a lot of markets is like they don't hit them where you are. So, like, you got to hit your fans where they already are. They're at Target.
Yep. Here,
Yeah.
But
We're in a
this
different
is-
place.
this is a nationwide Target, not individual sales.
So this
And even
was-
here, like the Renton Target just down the way, we're at the Berliner Pub down in
Ahead of
3rd
the
and
curve.
Main. It's a very nice Target off screens. Christine brings up, but the sports section is Carolyn. Is the sports section is like 2 of the tables here, and the Sounders part of the local team sports section is as wide as I am. But no, it's 2 racks. It's 1 up, 1 down, and that's it. Yeah. So as that expands, getting like the league's partnership with Target is good for availability. It's good. Here's my hand in front of the screen. It's good for the league. It's very good. That's a great partnership to get in front of the common man. Target's
Agreed.
great. So that's my second one. Thank you.
Wow, did you get a hot toddy?
No.
Toddy.
So at the Berliner they have an apple cobbler cider. The Berliner 3rd and Main. Brown sugar bourbon
Oh, yeah.
with the spice cider.
It is fantastic.
I should
So-
have gotten that, man.
So
I
we got
should've
about
gotten
five minutes or so left.
We can go over because the karaoke dude loves you.
that. Yeah,
He does. Anyway, anything else beyond Sounders Land that we want to talk about? Thanks, Jake.
I'm gonna go back. That was
We'll have like the Midwest section.
You
Anything else
know,
we want
I
to talk
saw a
about
little
tonight?
Stat.
Yeah.
The goalkeeper for Italy's national team,
Buffon.
Buffon, played his 1,000th
1,000th game.
match
Yeah.
Wow.
over the weekend.
All competitions.
All competitions.
Wow.
1,000 matches.
I have a
man.
trivia point for you for Buffon.
What's his first name?
Buffon.
Come on.
Um,
He's got it.
No. Do you have
To
it?
the G.
Yeah.
Greg?
It's not Greg.
Aren't all Italy fans Greg?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna let this go. Let's keep going.
All right, go ahead.
Giuliani.
How's his hair?
Gianluca.
Gianluigi.
I did two G's.
You're close.
Gianluca? Gianluca.
Anyway,
We go ahead.
Ugo.
Buffon. So the trivia point I was going to bring up is he's on the Italian national team still, and he's older than the second and third keeper combined.
Wow.
What? No.
The number 2 and number 3 keeper for Italy right now, add their ages together, and they're still younger than Buffon.
He's 39.
It is
Damn.
Gianluigi.
Gianluigi.
As I was saying,
It's me, Mario.
when I used to play Super Mario Brothers when I was younger, my sister used to call him
Yesterday.
Lugio. Like she couldn't say Luigi, she
Really?
said Lugio.
Lugio.
She also used to say McDonald's with a G. McDonald's. With a
McDonald's.
G at the end.
Okay.
Also,
Anyway, so-
We're off topic again.
Pulido,
OT.
Alan
Yes.
Pulido
Gigi Buffon.
is
Again,
playing with
he's
other-
39. You combine their backup keepers are both teenagers, so he's older than they are combined.
That's
That's
fantastic.
crazy.
They're younger. Like the better of those two is like 18 and is
It's
going to
funny
be the
how
hottest
long
shit
you
in the
last
world.
as a player when you play for good teams.
Casey Keller agrees.
Yeah.
Or you're a goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's a lot about being a goalkeeper too. Like
I mean, how old's our goalkeeper for Pub League?
who was it? What's his name? We have a question about Sacramento's goalkeeper, but I don't know who he is. Ugo,
What's the what?
Sacramento's goalkeeper.
I can tell you right now because I still have the lineups on my phone.
Okay,
So,
Ugo's looking up that trivia.
Dominic Jakubek.
Oh, I don't know him at all.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Alan Pulido played for the national team in Mexico and has been doing very well with Chivas. And you might remember that name as the player who got kidnapped, then escaped his captors, and is now balling with Chivas and on the Mexican national team. Well, he didn't do great, but he's playing, and he made the team. So keep that
Okay.
nugget about my boy Pulido from Chivas.
What else do I want to talk about? You seem to have something in mind for me, the way of your eyes. No?
No, I was saying earlier, I kind of wanted to just have you keep guessing what Buffon's first name was. Like I could have done that for like 10 minutes.
I'd run through every Gianpaolo.
literally any G word.
My best friend in the
Italian.
army, by the way, was Gianpaolo.
Gianpaolo.
And his father,
Gianpaolo.
and they were big fans of Gianluca.
There you go.
Or no, he was Gianluca. They were big fans of Gianpaolo,
By the way,
Pope.
if we could never call anyone Seba,
Right?
it's so awful.
Seba?
Like
For
Jovinko,
Sebastian.
Sebastian.
Sebastian Letou?
It's
You know, it's a
horrid.
Seba?
It is really typical though in Latin America.
It's
bad.
Sebas is it's
bad.
Or Gio. I'm really tired of Gios.
I
Because
wanna
which
call
one of the
him-
Gios are you talking
Seriously, I want to call him Joe Vinco, just because that's
Joe?
funny.
Joe
about?
Vinco.
Or John.
John Vinca.
How
No, just John.
Jovinko. It's not hard to say.
Johnny.
Anywho,
You know what else is not hard to say? No trophies in the
No who?
trophy case.
Um,
Toronto.
I'm going to give a big shout out to Tales from the Yawning Portal, which is the latest expansion for the 5th edition of Dungeons and Dragons. It's got the
easily-
classic shit in it.
Like if I had a list of things I thought you were going to say,
Not-
not only would this not have been on
it should be on the list.
but it would not have been on the list in 37 years.
No.
So good job.
In a row?
What?
You said 37.
Anyway, just keep
So
going.
Tales from the Yawning Portal has Tomb of Horrors, which is like a classic D&D module. Or if you've read Ready Player One, you know what Tomb of Horrors is. And it's basically just a giant death trap to kill your
Is
friends.
that movie ever coming out?
Yes, and Warner Brothers literally today signed Vive as their VR partner. And since the movie is basically a VR experience on screen, having a VR partner is important. Yeah.
Critical.
So, big fan of Tales from the Yawning Portal. I don't even play like custom designed dungeons, but it's so great.
I want to ask, who do we want to have on the show as a guest? We haven't had a guest in a bit.
I'm
Any
pretty sure we
ideas?
have a whole list from the meeting that we had.
I have some
No,
ideas that are already in the works.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
Do you have any new guests that you'd like to have?
Well, just because I bumped into him at lunch.
Jeff
I was
Baker?
thinking Matt Johnson.
Stretch.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I bumped
yeah.
into
That's
him at
actually a
lunch.
really good idea.
That'd be
I've
fun.
actually seen him like 5 random times.
Yeah.
Like I'll
Stretch-
be walking down the street and there he is.
Stretch was the first person that I met when I was a person paid to work in sports business.
Really?
I did overnights at KJR from midnight to 6 a.m. And
Yep.
at 6:01 a.m., he said, "Hi, I'm Matt Johnson. Everybody calls me Stretch."
But he never referred to you as the help.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever make him
Yeah.
a coffee?
Yep.
I worked in sports radio for almost 3 years. I made a shitload of
Yeah, I was
coffee for
gonna say.
people.
Oh, so your name
also-
wasn't Slick.
I was both an intern and a producer, and I did it in both roles. Because damn it, I was going to make people happy, and I know coffee, so I'll make people happy.
Then I was thinking of getting
Wow.
Lorenzo on here.
Lorenzo Gatto?
Yeah.
In
Ramos?
Yeah. Get it as
Would
two
fun.
player.
Kind of want to. I would love to chat with David Olson again. We had him on about a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Was he here with
That was
kid from
Seattle
Florida?
U, and he was on with Toby Genohope,
Yeah.
who was one of those homestay out of Florida, came here and is now at Denver. But David went through, did that final season at Seattle U where anticipation was high, and then he decided to leave school and try to make a roster, and he made S2. And so kind of see what that means. He's a guy that knows Jordan Morris as good as anybody because they were forward partners when Jordan was a senior, David was a junior. That'd be fun. You know who would be we've had on the show before is Christian Roldan.
Yeah.
I want to have a
do
certain
prep right now.
Hawaiian forward
Brian
for
Ching.
S2.
Oh,
Maybe you've heard of him.
he said Hawaiian forward.
Yeah.
From S2.
That isn't named Brian Ching, whose first name
Shannon
is
Hopial.
Shandon.
What island is he
Ah.
He's from Oahu.
from? Okay.
Yeah.
They've got a
Hopial.
couple that are from Maui though.
That is my
In the
new,
Hope yeah.
yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott is in the academy and is from Maui.
Okay.
Oh. You-
And that
you
would be
just-
fun just to talk Maui.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Felix.
We could get Zach Scott on the show.
So have you
talk
been to
Maui.
Star Noodle?
This isn't tourist Maui.
I'll work on an S2 episode and get a couple guys. I like
That'd
that.
be fun.
Yeah.
And they
If
can
you
actually
can't tell
come into
listeners,
this
we're
bar.
gonna try to get guests again.
Yeah.
We go through
Yeah.
cycles here on SonarFeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like guest.
Yeah.
No guest for 4 months.
Tell us who you guys want to see. Tweet at
So
us.
anyway,
Chat
any
room.
questions in the room from the folks sitting
Yeah.
here at the
Some
bar?
guests, some comments, hanging out.
Everyone's on their
Predictions.
phones.
Let's ask for predictions. What's your
Predictions for
prediction?
Friday?
Yes. What's your Twitter handle and your name?
Oh gosh, my Twitter handle is
She just spilled.
Mari Dub. Kristen on there, and what am I predicting? 2-0 Sounders.
First prediction. There you go. 2-0 because she loves the Sounders. No question. I'm going to go with, I call it the 3-1, by the way, of the home opener. You guys can go back and watch that.
Oh, yeah.
We'll go back and watch that. I'm going to go with 2-1 Sounders Friday.
Mark?
I'm going to give you two. One, if we have a more first-team dominant team, I think it's going to be
So that won't happen.
more something like
So
3-2.
3-2?
3-2 Sounders?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So actually, I think it's going to end up being 3-1 Atlanta, considering
What?
we're probably not going to have
We're going to lose 3-1?
a
Oh,
strong
did I hear
first
that
team out
right?
there.
I need to drink more. Hold on.
Did I hear that right?
Right?
We're
Keeping
going
it
to
real,
lose
man.
3-1 at home
With
without their best player?
they have a strong team.
You know what? 2-1 Sounders.
Fuck it.
3-1, huh? We should track this.
I want to bust out the old tacos and haircuts. I'm going 3-0, mother.
Oh, 3-0
Oh.
Sounders.
By the way, tacos are now at El
best-
Reconceived.
No.
Actual tacos.
leave.
Oh my God.
If you're one of those people in the city limits, leave the city limits and get good tacos.
Yes, and
I mean,
these
that's
are-
kind of actually a rule all the time. Yeah. But that's a whole different discussion. Chris just shared, when keeping it real goes wrong. Which, by the way, is a great sketch. Just Google it. We don't need to
That's a
even
great
talk about
shirt,
it.
Dude. You should
It is.
make a shirt that says that.
Oh, that was pretty cool. So I was at a party on Saturday night, right? And we watched the Gonzaga
Wait,
game.
you went
I
to a
was
party
like, what?
last Saturday night?
What?
Do you know this song?
Yes.
Lita
You're
Ford?
singing it in a minute. So
We're
I'm
gonna
there and
sing
I'm
that?
watching the
Lita
Necaxa
Ford
game.
tonight?
And you are.
Oh.
I will not sing. We know
Anyway,
that.
so you're watching Necaxa.
So, and I've got the emoji Sounder Heart shirt on, and this woman goes, "Wow, that's awesome!" And I start explaining, and she goes, "Stop explaining! I just want to buy it." And I go, "Well, okay, cool." I text her the purchase page. She goes, "Oh, that's Sounders related? I wouldn't have known." And I'm like, so I'm back to trying to. No, seriously, stop explaining. I just want to buy that shirt. And then I show her the map of the Puget Sound outline. And she goes, "I'm getting that one too." I'm like, you just told me you don't like soccer, you don't care about the sound. Yeah, it looks really cool, and that made me feel good. And I need to feel good once in a while.
No question.
All right, so
Buy my shit.
so
I mean, stuff, please.
You heard it here first. Buy Dave shit.
so Dave thinks 9-0 Sounders.
One for
Jake,
each trophy.
2-1, Jake.
Oh.
2-1, 2-1. 2-1. What was that? Caroline with 2-1. Thinking Atlanta's going to score. They have good players. I went with the same score. I agree.
Did you see
I don't
Steph give the boys like a shout
That was
out? And he
great.
Did he
said
give
like
the boys a hand?
boys. Yeah, on Twitter.
Buttes. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Did,
No, who did Atlanta sign
give
for
the boys a
broadcast team?
hand.
Oh.
Whatever, man. Week
Yeah,
5. Figure it
we have
out.
James.
No,
So-
he's not on the broadcast team.
But
I-
he's not at the stadium. It's all the.
I do have
he's
to
all the
find
British
this
we
tweet
want.
that Aaron Campo found.
We're not going to keep the show going so you can look shit up on the internet.
Yeah. 42-6. Adam with a solid
Yeah, he
score.
tweets way too much shit
Adam.
to find that.
Wiggles. Well, y'all,
No.
I hope I see more. of you guys.
42-6 is not possible, Adam. Yeah.
Did you
Okay.
say Alan Green? R&B.
What are we laughing about? Like, we're just babbling here at the end of the show. I'm gonna lose.
Mark just showed me what is easily one of the most racist things that's ever been
No, you
posted on
didn't.
Wikipedia.
You
And
sounded
that's
dope.
and that's
Not-
the guy that they just
sounded
signed for
dope.
Atlanta.
Wait,
Dope.
the guy
I like
that
it, dope.
said that?
Yeah.
What happened?
He described. I got to read this. This guy, this right here, he described a Man City player who's Chinese as, quote, number 17. That'll be the chicken chow mein then, end quote, during a live radio broadcast.
Wow.
Great get there, Atlanta.
Having been to the South, all reserve comment.
Wow.
So anyway, so it's 9:08 p.m. Pacific time.
What are you singing tonight at the Berliner?
I don't know. Maybe I will sing.
Stone Temple Pilots?
I mean,
Peaches?
Selena.
I'm not doing Selena.
Do
Sorry.
it.
No,
I
let's
might-
be honest. He does
Lita
two.
Ford could
he
be.
does Stone Temple Pilots and he does
Peaches.
No,
Peaches.
I have about 5 songs. I primarily do 3 of them.
I always go with Friends in Low Places.
If I had 10 times a night that I was singing, I would obviously have a lot more songs. Anyway, so we're going to sign off. Mark, do you have
Yes.
anything you want to say?
I got nothing.
Ugo?
Eat tacos, send taco love, go Sounders. I'll see you guys at Sounders 2 versus Timbers 2, Sunday at 2. That was a lot of 2s.
Dave?
Try something new this week.
Ooh.
Wow, that's like directly at me, by the way.
So drink PBR instead of Rainier at the stadium?
It does not mean try another podcast.
Same manufacturer.
Friday night,
I know.
7 p.m.
It's
Get
Friday
in.
night.
Get in.
I ain't got
Get in.
nobody.
Be loud.
It's going to be good.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Should we march the match?
We should.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Eat tacos. Eat tacos. Get money.
Eat tacos, get money.
We-
That's gonna
we
be a
out.
shirt. Oh my god, I'm putting that on the shirt. Eat tacos, get money.
Everybody.